and welcome to my YouTube channel, Juliet McNeil Crafts. So it's time for another Dawn and Juliet Crate, and it's part 2 of the embellishment challenge set by Dawn. This was all wrapped absolutely beautifully, but I've sort of dived into it a little bit. So in here contains the challenge. So here is part 2 of the challenge. Using the leftover kit, create a very basic journal that includes an envelope that will fit in my card. That is quite hilarious because I've made Dawn an 8x8 card. Although the sentiment part was separate, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Dawn manages to include that. So it includes an envelope that will fit in my card and 2 pockets. For the pockets, you are to create 2 journaling cards using the embellishments. You are also to decorate the front of the journal, adding at least 1 embellishments. The other bits we're allowed to include are white gesso, Arteza gouache, souffle for sparkle, and black pen. So, yeah, fun and games. Right, so here's Donnie Don's, here's Donnie Don's card that she made me, and inside it says, Julia, you know who is the most beautiful person in the world? Read the first word. Oh, that's so sweet. Love you lots, Dawn. So that card is to go in an envelope. So, yeah, we'll have fun with that. And here are our Dawn's embellishments. Nice. It's so different seeing them in person. So I know you'll have watched Dawn do these. Yeah, there we go. That's the one where she cut up that paper. So I did watch her make them. But yeah. Oh, I like that one. I think that one could be my front cover, depending on how we go. So what I will do is I'm actually going to grab my leftover kit and start putting the journal together. I always find that's a bit of a slow, repetitive process, and you've seen me put a journal together before, so I will just pop you on speed up while I do that. Okay, so I'm just going to come back on. I'm presuming the fact that we've got to use it. She's not included an envelope, but she's, oh yeah, you've got to make a journal that includes an envelope. So I'm not sure whether that was meant to be a handmade envelope or not. But what I've done is I've got an envelope, and I'm just going to fold that there so that that will catch into the journal somewhere. Maybe there, like so. I'll cover that with something. That's not my favourite paper anyway, so it means that we can do that and still stitch it in. But I think what I want to do is create a bit of a insert for that. So I'm going to see what papers we've got left. Some of these papers, I'm just not that keen on that glitter one, to be honest. So I'm thinking that maybe we could use up a bit of paper, but in a way that I don't have to see the glitter stuff. Right, I'm just going to use this glue because it's on my desk and I'll not have to wrestle with it. And it also means that we can get rid of that horrible sort of, you know, the gummy part. Let's get that on there like so. Oops. And I'm going to slide that down, oops, and stick it in. I'm not too bothered that we've come off the edge there because in all honesty I'm probably going to have to cut that anyway to fit it in the journal. But I just thought, seeing as that bit was slightly more in depth, not in depth, but I'm doing something other than folding paper, that it might be interesting to see. I've kept out some of the extra bits because I can add tip pins and stuff like that, and I've also done something so that I've got my pocket. So if we've got that roughly there, we'll have to, as I said, we'll have to cut this bit off anyway to fit it into the journal. I'm just going to use one of those lines there as a guide. Now she's not actually mentioned any distress inks, so I can't edge round it, but thankfully it's my journal, so I'll not put it now, but as I work in it I can add what I want, so that's all good. And I can actually just use that bit to stick it down later, and then we can cover that with something or other. So yeah, well, we'll be fine, we'll work something out. So I'm just going to ever so slightly trim these pages down so that they fit inside the cover, and I'm thinking that I'm going to use Dawn's bit just there. So what I'll do is I'm just going to trim those down, and then I'll stitch it, because you've seen me stitch journals before. If you particularly want to see me do that, just mention it in the comments and I'll refer you to a video where I've done that. And then we'll be back to do all the other elements that Dawn's asked us to do. So that's it all stitched together. Made a complete mess of it, and the knot's completely in the wrong place, but you know, this is the thing with crafting. Don't worry if it doesn't turn out perfect. It's really not a problem, because it's going to get covered anyway, so don't worry overly too much about that. Right, so there's a few bits and pieces inside I kind of want to correct, like we have this random piece here, so I'm going to see what we have. What have we got here? Every day is a new adventure. See, that's quite nice. So we could stick that there. So if I tear this down, I'm just trying to hide this piece, which is a little bit random. So I'm just going to, and I don't particularly like this paper, so I'm kind of covering that up. I'm just using this glue because it's what's, oh, I never noticed there was a sentiment on the back. Oh well, we're not using that. Just as well, I'd have probably ended up overthinking anyway if I was having to choose. Right, so we'll stick that down like so, and stick this down. And I'm just going to trim that slightly so that it sits there. Black pen out, and I'm just going to edge this like so, and then we'll stick that down there. Actually, if we were to get the other glue out and attempt to wrestle with it, I need to get some more of this glue. It has actually lasted better than my other one, but I am still managing to clog that one too. I'm amazing at clogging glues. I think it's an extra skill. An extra, oh my, telephone's going. Never mind, Hubster's in so he can answer it. Right. Probably not the best thing to be doing. There we go. Nope, okay, I will wrestle with it. Oh, that was an exciting phone call. My husband's just been called by the surgery and told to go for his first vaccine, so that's good. I was kind of hoping that they might do us both together, but obviously not, because he's a bit older, so I thought I'd get away with getting mine sooner. Okay, so I've just put glue down the three edges, and then that now means that we have got a pocket, which is awesome. And it's great when you're doing journals, just having extra bits of pockets and things to stick things down with. Obviously I haven't put enough glue down there. Okay, so that's all good. Okay, anything else that needs fixed? This protrudes out slightly, but I'm not too worried, because I was thinking I can turn it deliberately into a tab, and there you go, Dawn's card fits in there. So that's one part of the brief sorted. I don't know what we'll do about that. I mean, that could be, you could art on that, because I tend to art in my journals, to be honest. Right, I'm just going to stick these bits down. Okay. And this bit down too. Oops. Okay. There we go. Right, so what I'm going to do, I think, is concentrate on the front cover because I can kind of be making the tags, you know, if I use, I definitely know I want this for the front cover. The only thing about that is that it kind of blends in a little bit. So, what have we got? We've got gesso and gouache, but we don't have any sort of stencil or anything like that. So I've got these bits that I trimmed, so we could sort of create a banner or something maybe. I've also got my daughter home from school. She was feeling sick this morning, and then I suddenly realised, because she had been complaining of a sore throat, I says, oh, do you have a headache? And she's like, yeah, and I'm like, because I get terrible migraines. I was like, I bet she's getting a... Well, quite like that, because that grounds it, but let's get some black pen on that, and then we can maybe just do some simple shadowing with the gouache. There's no point in over complicating it. Right, so let's get the black pen. I really can't wait to see Dawn attempting to fit that card into a journal, because the paper just isn't that big, you know, she's limited to this paper. And then she's got to manage to fit an 8x8 card in an envelope. Oh goodness, I mean, I love Dawn, but I really am very, I mean, it's terribly mean of me to be laughing at the thought of that. But as I said, I did play it, I did make it separate. So so she might manage to wangle it that way. But yeah, I was like, oh dear, poor Dawn. The thing is, I don't think she specified what size of card we were to make. I just pulled out the first one that was there. It was a massive thing. Well, Dawn always says she likes a challenge, so there you go. She's managed to give herself one she wasn't expecting. Ah, dear. Oh, I'm such a mean friend. Oh, dear. Right. Let's get going with this. I'm just wondering if the fact that my husband's going to get the vaccine, it means he's going to have man flu for the next few days. There we go. So we've got that sorted. Do I want to just, yeah, do you know what? I'm just going to fold it over and bring it over here. I mean, I don't quite know what I'm doing with it at this point, but we're not making a finished piece, we're making a journal. You art in them later. Right. There we go. Oh, good. Right. And then we'll stick that down. And then, as I said, I think I'm just going to get a bit of the gouache to do a bit of shadowing, and we'll maybe put a bit of souffle on there. I would have really liked to have inked around the edges, but she's not mentioned ink at all. White gesso, artesa gouache, souffle and black pen. Yeah, I just think, you know, if I could have got my distress inks around there, that would have been fabulous. But, as I said, because this will end up be something that I will art in, I can always get my other journal out. Dawn and I made a journal before. Actually, it was the last embellishment challenge that we had. We did embellishments and then we did a journal with it later on. And I've pretty much finished it, I think. I've just got a few pages to go, but I can show you how I use, because people say that, oh, what do you do with it? I tend to use them as art journals. Right, so let's go and grab the old gouache. So we're now on speed up, and I am doing a voiceover because I did something really funky with the sound. I have no idea what I did, but when I went to listen to it, it was so crackly. Seriously, it would have made your head explode. It was just awful. So I have decided just to speed it up and attempt this whole voiceover malarkey, which is very strange. It's very unnatural for me. I'm used to just sort of rabbiting on as I'm grafting, trying to watch and explain what I'm doing. Whole new skill set. So you'll have to let me know how you think it went. Whether you would like to see me do more like this so that my things are faster, or whether you prefer just seeing me in my silliness as I'm crafting. So what I've done is I've got my gouaches out. The embellishment that Dawn made is absolutely stunning. I love this so much, and I really wanted it on the front cover, but it did sort of blend in too much because it was the same colour tone. So I've got my stone blue, because that blue you do see it throughout the paper pad, and so hence the journal. So I've used that stone blue and I'm just created a shadowing around it, and you can see how much more that has popped from the page. now that I've done it. I've also just added my splatters as well, just to give it a bit of continuity. So we come to adding the souffle. I was choosing between the Love one, the special edition Love one, or Diamond. Had I not swatched it out, I'd have probably gone for the Love one because I would, in my head, have thought, oh, pink. But in the end, I opted for the Diamond one because it had tinges of blue and tinges of pink. And this is why I highly, highly recommend swatching out your product, because then you can make choices based on the project that you are working on, and you'll find things will come together beforehand. I honestly cannot stress swatching enough. So I am applying this just using a brush. I'm not particularly wanting it thick and chunky on the cover. I'm just wanting to give it the unicorn a little bit of sparkle. So I've painted it all over the unicorn. I'm painting it over the sentiment as well. And then I'm just about to go on to paint a couple of the stars. So with the stars, what I did was I chose 3 in 3 areas. So I'm doing the lower ones now, then I'm going to go to mid and to top. So that helps with the rule of 3, but it also just helps with drawing the eye down by the placement of those 3 different things. And it's really subtle anyway, it's not going to be obvious, it's just a little bit of subtle sparkle. So now we're going on to the tags. These have all dried. I think at some point I'm going to show you my arm, and that's because I finished these in the evening. So by the time I was finishing off, I was in my PJs. I do kind of wish that this part was live though, because I got so incredibly excited. I managed to use my Jane Davenport pen over the souffles. I mean, souffles are like a gel medium texture paste with glitter in them, and yet these pens right over them. It was just so cool. And although I do it automatically, I sort of like right over these things with this pen and expect it to do it. Every so often I just go, oh wow, it just went over that. So yeah, I was quite excited about that. So now I'm just adding the tags to the journal. So I was just repeating the pocket on that one, and then I am popping it in there. I'm just going to now double check what Dawn has asked us to do, and at this point I realise it should have been journaling cards but not tags, but you can journal on the back of a tag, so I think we're all good. I think it still fits the brief. I hope so anyway. If not, I'll be on the naughty step, so, you know. But it's fine. I have fun there. I'm used to living there, so it's all good. Please do go over and check out and see what Dawn has done. I can't wait to see what she's done with my embellishments, how she's tackled the big card and the tiny embellishments. If you've enjoyed it here, please do consider liking and subscribing, and I'll be back soon. Okay, bye.